There's other news this morning, too. Jewish community leaders say they're frustrated. More progress hasn't been made to stop waves of bomb threats against Jewish centers. The JCC, Association of North America, says more than 100 phoned or emailed threats have been received in more than 30 states since January, including New York. John Miller is Deputy Commissioner of Intelligence and Counterterrorism at the NYPD. John, good morning.
Good morning, Norah.
So does law enforcement have a sense of who might be behind these threats? Are they coordinated?
Well, they're certainly coordinated in that, we have what appears to be one offender behind a large number of these. Then we have had kind of copycats. You'll note that there was an arrest in St. Louis last week. The NYPD's intelligence division actually supplied a key lead in, because this is a character that we had seen in an earlier case some time ago. So what you have is you have the person behind the main number of these and the copycats. Now, the person behind the main number of these, first of all, it's your typical bomb scare offender. The offender characteristics come with this person is a typical coward. They hide behind the shadows, they work from a distance, and their goal is to instill fear. And doing that behind the shadows shows that they're not willing to come out and confront whatever the issue is. They want people to jump through their hoops. But this guy's using technology. Right. He's using a voice changer that makes him sound like a female. He's using VoIP technology on the phone. He's using phone spoofing, sometimes to make it appear that not only is the call not coming from the number he's using, but coming from a number within the location that he's threatening. So we have an offender with some technical prowess here.
What do you advise Jewish community centers to do if they get a call like this?
So, Anthony, we've been in conversations in New York with the major Jewish organizations, and what we've talked about is a measured response. Remember our offender characteristics. This person actually wants to instill fear, but he also wants to cause disruption. So the measured response is, rather than evacuating the whole building at the first call, which fits all of the elements of the pattern, do a perimeter search with the police, do an interior search with the police and or a explosive detection canine, and if nothing is found, don't give the payoff to the threat. That is quite obviously a threat.
John, how do you tell the difference between someone who legitimately wants to do harm and someone who's pulling a prank to create chaos?
Well, most of the time, the person who's legitimately trying to do harm doesn't call ahead to diminish the amount of harm that he or she is doing, most of the time. But that's more a guideline than it is a rule. So you have to handle those things seriously. On the other hand, when you have a defined pattern with defined characteristics and a large number of these fake calls, then you get into territory where you know exactly what's going on in all likelihood. And while you need to respond to it by checking it out, you may not need to use the full-on response that is going to deliver the type of disruption that keeps this person going.
But you're confident they're going to catch this guy?
Everything that this individual does, every technological piece that they add in to avoid detection is going to leave a different kind of fingerprint that when this person's identified, and the FBI is running this case because it's a national threat, that are going to help identify this person.
So there's coordination across straight lines on this.
So what you have is a case that started in the Tampa field office of the FBI, so they're the office of origin, but as it spread throughout the country, leads all come into that central investigation. The headquarters hate crimes division within the civil rights division is running the big picture of this, and police departments like New York City's are working their own investigations and coordinating those with the FBI. So there's a lot of people working on this day and night.
That's good. That's very good to hear. You are the Deputy Commissioner of the NYPD, so while we have you here, I want to ask you about one other thing. Protecting President Trump, I know, has cost $25 million. Is the NYPD, want the federal government to reimburse the NYPD for those costs?
We certainly do. A letter recently went from the police commissioner to all the members of the New York delegation. Norah, what this is we have an obligation to protect not just the President of the United States while he's in New York, but also all the residents of Trump Tower, both when he's here and when he's not here. This is basically an unfunded federal mandate. It's not like the federal government.
How much is it going to cost per year?
Yeah.
Well, I
The
mean,
hundreds of millions?
if you talk about the 25 million that was before the election, how much it's going to cost every year is going to depend largely on how often he comes here. So far, he hasn't been here as much as people thought he would. But put that aside. Trump Tower, where his family lives, it's his known residence, and now because of his name becomes a symbolic target.
Yes,
Sure.
and even if he's not there.
And that means not just the residents of Trump Tower, but everything around it becomes part of that protection package. And that all counts, and the city shouldn't have to pay for that from its taxpayers for Washington. It's not like the
Yeah.
U.S. government said, just do this if you guys can fit it in.
Sure.
They said, we need this protection.
It's
and
not
and we're running up a big bill for New Yorkers.
John Miller, Deputy Commissioner with the NYPD. A lot on your plate. Thanks for your time, sir.
Thanks.